If you have ever been within 15 feet of a stinky 14-year-old, that kid's biggest problem is not knowing that he stinks. Getting customers is a lot easier than you think. And I'm gonna prove it. Typically, if you've just started your business, the very first thing you start thinking through is, how do I now get customers? And you're paying for a course, you're paying for leads, you're paying for a course on how to get leads, you're paying for as many things as you could possibly pay for in order to get people to buy your thing. And typically, all of this is out of an abundance of not really knowing where to look in the first place. So I'm gonna give you 3 things for you to get customers today. You can start implementing this today and you will start getting customers like crazy. I promise you. So stick with me to the end of this video and I'll show you how to clean this up. I have worked with enough service-based businesses to know that the primary issue for them not getting customers is typically not a marketing issue. It's usually just a clarity issue. And so I'm gonna provide a little bit of sense for you on how to get clarity so that your ideal customer starts begging to work with you, as well as a little bit of tactics on how to actually market to that person. Let me start with a little story for you. Procter & Gamble launches Febreze. It's an amazing product and it solves a real problem, but it completely flops. Why? Because Febreze was selling odor elimination. They were saying, hey, you stink. Your house stinks. Buy our thing and it will fix it. They said, if your house stinks, buy our thing and it'll fix it. However, if you have ever been within 15 feet of a stinky 14-year-old, that kid's biggest problem is not knowing that he stinks. So they were marketing a problem to people who didn't even know they had a problem. There was a researcher who noticed this and they said, actually, the person who would be buying this product is somebody who loves to not stink. Somebody who already cleans their house. Somebody who, after they're done with their cleaning ritual, they need something to just lock in that smell so that everybody knows I'm a clean person. So they started selling Febreze as a closing ritual to your cleaning routine, and it took off like gangbusters. Same exact product, better clarity about who it solved a real problem for, and took it from a product that was on the chopping block to a $1 billion product. Same formula, just a different problem. The point here is that Procter & Gamble had unlimited resources available to them, but they got the problem they were solving wrong. And you probably can too, and most businesses are. Most med spa owners that I work with and estheticians and plastic surgeons that I work with in our marketing company have the same exact problem that Febreze and Procter & Gamble had. They have an amazing solution, but they're solving the wrong problem in their marketing. So step number 1, you need to know the real problem. There's a problem that you're solving. So let's go back to the med spa example. Their problem they're typically solving is look younger, right? They're solving the problem of look younger. People want to look younger. They want to reclaim their youth or whatever it is. That's fine. However, every med spa solves that problem. What makes you different? Look younger. The actual problem that is typically stopping people from coming in right now, especially right now in 2026, the biggest problem that's stopping people from coming in is, you guessed it, I don't want to look weird. Don't look weird. Now, if we can speak to that, look like your most natural self, all of a sudden people are very, very interested in coming to you. And if you can identify that my primary demographic is concerned about looking natural, you've got an amazing product on your hands. You have an amazing product on your hands because it solves that issue. They want to look their best, but they don't want to look weird. Additionally, the actual problem you're solving could be age gracefully. They're not trying to chase youth. They're just trying to look like the best version of themselves at any given age. That's a completely different marketing strategy. Are you catching the direction I'm going here? We're solving, even though this is one problem, really what they're trying to do, they're either trying to not look weird, they're trying to look normal, look natural, or they're trying to maybe age gracefully. Maybe they are chasing trends. Like maybe that is the med spa that says, no, we will do the weird lips. We will do the craziness because there are people that say, yeah, I want to look like the most caricature version of myself. Is that the med spa that I would run? Probably not. But if that's somebody else's speed and that's what they want to do, cool. There's a way to market that. So number 1, you have to know the problem that you are actually solving. You have to know the actual problem you're solving, because if you don't know the problem you're solving, you're not going to know who to sell it to, and you're certainly not going to know how to articulate it. If I ask most med spa owners, what do? They'll say, I create outcomes. It's like, what are you talking about? You create outcomes. Next. Any med spa owner, you ask what they do, oftentimes they'll say, I create outcomes for people. It's like, you create outcomes for people. Yeah. Okay. Let's get more clear. I help people age gracefully. That's interesting. I help people look like their best self without looking weird. That's very interesting. All of a sudden, I can put you in a category in my head. Okay, that's number 1. You have to identify the real problem. Number one, you got to know what the problem is that you're actually solving. Number two, you have to know who you're solving the problem for. Okay? Who are you solving it for? I know that that's like, oh my gosh, yeah, we solve it for everybody. We do aesthetics for everybody. It's like, great, then you do it for nobody. What are you talking about? You do it for everybody. Let's be clear about who you solve it for. For example, there's an amazing clinic down in Miami, and her name is Tanya Patron. Shout out Tanya if you're watching this. And Tanya, for the longest time in her career, was the lip girl. She just did lips. Morning to evening, her schedule was full of lips because she was the lip person. I will make your lips look fantastic was her entire value proposition. She said, most people are afraid of having crazy, overfilled, weird looking lips. I make your lips look perfect every single time. So she had the problem and she could identify the people who have flat lips that want to have something that looks more full. It was a little bit easier for her to identify who she solved the problem for. And if you know who you're solving the problem for, you can go find them. You can go find them. If you know what you're solving and you know who you're solving it for, very easy to just go find them. What platforms are they on? Where do they hang out? What do they do for fun? Where do they work out? I'm going to go find out all those things, and then I am going to berate those people. I am going to become their best friend. I'm going to show up everywhere that they are, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, Jared's med spa seems to be the fit for me. Why? Because I'm showing up everywhere that they are. Easiest way for you to get customers is identify the problem that you solve and then go find where those people are that you want to solve that problem for. That's the simple of it. Now, back to Procter & Gamble, they would argue Febreze is for everyone, right? Wrong. Febreze is not for the stinkies. Febreze is for the cleanies. Is that a real word? Febreze is for the people who are already clean and want this final step to make their home just smell immaculate, to smell like they clean. It's for the person who's already cleaning. Those people identified with it, found it, and turned Febreze into a billion-dollar product. And really at the core, it was people who wanted people to know they were clean. Not people who wanted to cover up that they were stinky. It was, hey, you're already cleaning. You already have a great ritual. Show everybody that you got that ritual with Febreze. Are you kidding me? Holy smokes. Identify who you are going for, and then go find them. Where do they hang out? Where do those cleaning people hang out? I don't know, but Febreze found them. And Febreze had messaging in their advertising that made those people say, oh, yes, that's my thing. Third thing, now that you know what you solve and who you solve it for, all you have to do is say it clearly. So you've got a real problem, you know the people that it solves it for, and you can say it clearly, you'll be drowning in money. I swear to God, you'll be drowning in money. Because now what you've done is you found the people, you know their pain point, and now you can say it in a way that they say, yes, that's me. And you need to be able to say it in one sentence. The amount of med spa owners that I talk to that if I said, what do you do? And the amount of people that would say, I'm an aesthetic injector. Stop using niche language, okay? Stop using niche language in your marketing. Oftentimes you become such an incredible expert that when you try to explain what you do to the public, you do it in a way that you would explain it to your colleagues. You need to explain it dead simple to people. Here is your problem, here is my solution, and here's what life is like afterwards. For example, Febreze might say, I help clean people put a bow on their cleaning routine with a signature scent. Something like that. I help clean people put a bow on their cleaning routine with a signature scent. All the clean people say, I want a signature scent. I want something that makes me feel like it's like Fabuloso, for example. I don't know if that's the best example. I love the smell of Fabuloso because when I smell it, I know things are clean. If I smell Fabuloso, I know that's the cleanest place ever. I lived in El Salvador for multiple years, and that was the smell that I knew this is a clean room if I could smell the Fabuloso. So your sentence would be, I help insert person, insert target demographic, the people, solve X, Y, and Z. And maybe something like how they'll feel afterwards. A little person, solution, promise. I help clean people generate a signature scent so that everyone can smell how hard you worked. I don't know. Something like that. Something like that, okay? Develop that sentence. Whatever that phrase is for your business. I help this person do this thing, and here's what life is like afterwards. Super clean. If you can identify the real problem that they're struggling with, the people that are struggling with the problem, and you can say it clearly, you will be drowning in new customers. I promise you. I promise you. That's the simple framework that you need. Because once you do, you'll know where they are and who they are, and just go say it to them. That's it. Just go say it to them as many ways as you can. Say that to them in as many ways as you can, and I promise you'll win. So I think the summary here is that it is not marketing that is that hard. It is about identifying clearly who you are and what you do, do and who you do it for, if you can lock that in, you are going to win. The marketing tactics only work if there's clarity first. I was spinning my wheels in mud for years in business because I did not have clarity on who I solved problems for and what problems I solved. Send this video to somebody who's overcomplicating their marketing efforts, okay? Hit that subscribe button. Send me a comment down below if you agree or disagree with what's going on here, and I'll see you in the next one.